going on, people? Welcome to United View. Actually, I forgot what show it was. I don't usually do these previews by myself. Bear with me. I've been away for a week. I'm just trying to get back into the swing of things. Good morning. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. And welcome to the preview for Manchester United versus Leeds as Leeds come to Old Trafford managerless. Well, will they still be managerless by Wednesday night? Who knows? I think they probably will be. And then they'll probably have a new manager in place for the game on the weekend on Sunday. But listen, we've got to take care of business. This is a Leeds side that is, what are they, 17th in the Premier League, absolutely struggling for form, struggling down the bottom of the table, facing relegation. And we've got to do the business. You know, we are smashing it at home. We are smashing it in the league at the moment. And we need to keep above business. We need to keep doing what we're doing, and we need to keep smashing it. Yeah, Leeds are 17th. They've got 18 points, and they're level on points with the drop zone as well. So this is the preview for that game. Do you know what? Just quickly a bit on Leeds, because this is it a banana skin? I think had they had a new manager in and worked with him for a couple of days, maybe a little more of a banana skin. You saw what happened to Arsenal against Everton away at Goodison Park. Sean Dyche coming in. He had like a week or a bit, just over a week, I think he had to work with them, maybe a little bit longer. So he really got to work on the principles of what they wanted to do. And it was a home game. I think for us, potentially, you know, you could argue, and this is why we need to turn up and do what we do best. And that's, you know, play the style that Erik ten Hag wants us to do and do what we have been doing at home. But if you look at it this way, you could say that Leeds are playing almost as a free hit. You know, they're playing with less pressure. They're playing with probably an interim manager that says, listen, there's going to be a new manager coming in here. We don't know. There could be, that new manager could even be in the stands, and they may play with a little bit more freedom and a little bit of the shackles off. But I'm leaning more towards it's still going to be incredibly difficult for them. Their confidence is going to be rock bottom. And as we saw when Erik ten Hag was in the stands last season, at Crystal Palace, when we'd already announced him, that did not make us play any better. When you're in a bad mode, you're in a bad mode. Even though we obviously had Ralph Rangnick at the time, but still, you get my drift. So for us, it's very much business as usual. But I say business as usual. Obviously, this is going to be the first of 3 games that Casemiro misses. You know, this is the first of the 3 games that he misses. I saw some people sort of saying we should appeal it, and you know, we should appeal against that because it wasn't a red card and stuff like that. And you know what? I thought about what that would mean. And do you know what? I don't trust the officials. I don't trust them to hold their hand up and say, we made a mistake. And I don't trust them to say, well, actually, yeah, we'll rescind the red card. What would probably happen is that he gets an extra game ban, and that'll make it 4, and then he'll miss the Carabao Cup final. What I will say on that incident as well is actually, in hindsight, I mean, I still say, yeah, Casemiro shouldn't put 2 hands round an opponent's neck. And to be fair, even Erik ten Hag did say that. But what I didn't really focus on, which I probably should have done more at the time, actually, looking at a lot of the reaction and looking at a lot of the different angles in the videos and even dissecting Erik ten Hag's press conference, I definitely should have focused more on the officials and the officiating, because it just isn't consistent. Ten Hag's spot on. And when you actually look at what he does, like I said, he didn't shake him, he didn't punch him, he didn't throw him to the ground. By the end of it, him and Will Hughes were laughing. And you had, I think it was Ayew, done the same thing to Fred, and just nothing got done about it. So, yes, I still stand by Casemiro. And like Erik ten Hag said, he crossed the line. That's clear. He did say that, and I agree with that. That's why I was like, what on earth is he doing? Because he's crossed the line. But so did Ayew, and nothing happened to him. So, basically, it just wasn't fair, was it? It just wasn't fair. But this is the first of 3 games without him. Marcel Sabitzer. Time to shine, bro. Let's go. Marcel Sabitzer had a decent cameo coming on in tough circumstances, hanging on against Crystal Palace's 11 men, hanging on with 10 men when he came onto the pitch. And his highlight was, you know, that perfectly well-timed tackle that he did. I went screaming at the TV I was. And Andre Mariner, the Wally, blew for a foul. And that stopped a great counter-attack. You know, that would have gave us a chance to seal the game out. But he looked good. He looked physical and showed a couple of signs. And you know what? I think with Marcel Sabitzer, he could... I'm not just saying that because we got him, right? And look, we haven't seen much of him yet. We only saw that little 15 minutes that he came on for, right? Whatever it was. But he could end up being exactly what we needed, but got him by accident, if you get what I mean. I think come summer, and this is a bold prediction by me, we'll look back in the summer and see if I was right. I think already with the attributes he has, if he performs to the level that we know he can, in terms of the attributes he possesses, he's already perfect for our squad. Because if you think about it, look what Eriksen gives us. He gives us a lot of what Eriksen can give us, but also gives us a little bit more in terms of his physicality, in terms of the way he can get around the pitch. Of course, Eriksen's an elite passer, elite with 2 feet, short passing, mid-range passing is really good. Tempo is really good. Deliveries are really good from set pieces from Christian Eriksen. So he's in his kind of own league with that. But Marcel Sabitzer is not too far behind in a lot of those things that Christian Eriksen can offer us or thereabouts. But he can also give us things that Christian Eriksen definitely can't give us, which is, that dynamism in midfield, that, the sense of energy, the legs, getting about the pitch, and also the versatility. This is a player that's played left wing, right wing, up front, in the 10, in a 6, in an 8. He's literally played it all. He's even played some games at left back. So he's a very, very versatile player for us. And actually, having him fit now and ready to go is going to be massive, because I can't see him not starting. It's him. Surely he's got to start against Leeds in this game. There's no McTominay that we know. I know there's going to be a press conference maybe later on today, or there might be some more info coming out about team news. But as of me, at the time of me recording this, we haven't had any extra team news to say that Scott McTominay's back. We know Casemiro's out. We know Eriksen's out. We know Donny's out. The only person who could potentially come back in is Scott McTominay, but he's been injured for a while, so he's not going to be more ready than Sabitzer to play, is he? So it's got to be Sabitzer, Fred, and Bruno tomorrow. The question is how do we shake things up when that midfield gets tired, or when we need to, make a few changes in midfield? Because if you're thinking about it, those are our only out-and-out central midfielders. And Sabitzer's a bit of a utility man who can specialise in there, but he can play everywhere else. But Fred and Bruno are the only, out-and-out midfielders that are fit, in the absence of Casemiro. So I'm just trying to make hypotheticals. If the game was going a little bit left, could he, I don't know, could he put Bruno out right, put Sancho in a 10, and then could he even play? Actually, well, I don't think Sancho will start, to be fair, but it's an option to bring Sancho into the game in the 10, move Bruno out to the right, and if someone needs a rest, you can maybe take them off and put Bruno in the midfield, or keep him on the right hand side, and one of those two can come off and Bruno can drop back. So that's probably, I think, Jadon Sancho being experimented in the 10 when he came on in that little cameo against Forest, I think it was. That could maybe give us something, But in terms of the back four and how we're going, listen, I think we just go exactly the same again. Dalot's back in training, so he's probably fit again. Maybe he may go with Diogo Dalot in there. But I think he definitely goes with Martinez and Varane and Luke Shaw. And actually, if you're looking at the table, guys, look, I keep saying it's not my job to take away Manchester United fans' dreams and to tell you dare not to dream and stuff like that, with the title talk and stuff like that. But you saw what happened with Man City. If we win tomorrow, we are level on points with Manchester City. Manchester City is back to that same old argument that we started to try and make when we had Palace and Arsenal in the same week. And if Manchester City are in it, then why aren't we? And if I'm honest, I'm still reluctant to do that on my personal belief. You can mock City all you want, and they've got a hell of a lot going on with all of those, over 100 charges or whatever it is that's been brought against them by the Premier League. That's a different story, different video. And yeah, they lost to Spurs, and I think they'll lose more games. But catching Arsenal, for me, we're already 8 points behind them, or 9 points, something like that, and they've got a game in hand as well. Let's just get a bigger gap between us and Spurs. That's what I'm on. Tottenham are 5th on 39 points. We're on 42 points. Let's just keep working. We've got a game in hand. Let's make sure we win it. Let's just get a cushion between us and Spurs. I know Newcastle were 2 points ahead of them. Hopefully they keep drawing games even more, keep dropping 2 points here, 2 points there, and we just build up the points gap even between Newcastle and just get a bit of a gap. But I know it's a bit pessimistic, but I'm more looking down to make sure we get a big enough gap before I start looking up. That's my personal opinion. But yeah, Leeds tomorrow at Old Trafford, I think it can be a tough game. We've smashed them, to be fair. And this is what's weird about Leeds. At Old Trafford, we actually smashed them both times, right? And they're a weird team, because you can know that you're in for a game and know that you're in for a tough game, because they play with high intensity. They run around like blue ass flies, but essentially they're awful. which is why they just sacked the manager. They're a crap team. I don't need to speak nicely about Leeds. We're Man United. We're rivals. They are an awful team. They are a crap team. And they haven't got this new manager yet. And even if they have appointed that new manager by Wednesday evening, I think it's very unlikely that he will be in the dugout, whoever it may be. He will be in the dugout for the Manchester United game. And even if he is, it means he's been fast-tracked into it. And how different can Leeds look in a day or two, especially with the training. The game at Ellen Road, I think we cross that bridge when we come to it. That'll be a different preview. And depending on how the game goes, actually, we'll see. Because I'll be stunned. And this is why we still have to be professional about this and turn up. Because I'll be stunned. You can't rule it out. But imagine if the new manager, has a phone call or a Zoom meeting with the team and says, listen, I want you to just go out there, play your hearts out. I'll be waiting on the other side for Thursday training at Ellen Road or wherever they train. And we'll be ready to put it right no matter what. I believe in you. It gives them a little bit of a pep talk and they just run around. They don't stop. Like I said, they play with a little bit of freedom because the pressure of having Jesse Marsh there, is he going to get sacked? We keep losing. That can kind of alleviate a little bit of it. But at the same time, there's a reason why that team is bottom. And I don't see this in terms of the game at Old Trafford. This is not a Sean Dyche job where it's a new manager bounce. Like I said, Sean Dyche had over a week to prepare, done all of his interviews, got to work with the team. He had, even though it was a relatively short time, it was long enough for him to imprint something to get a new manager bounce. And that game was at Goodison Park. If that game would have been at the Emirates, it would have been completely different. I'm not saying they couldn't have got a draw or a result out of it, but it would have been different. With Leeds having to come to... Honestly, this is technically Leeds' worst nightmare. You just sacked your manager and you got to play Man United twice. We're one of the most informed teams in the league. So let's put respect on our name. And actually, let's compile more misery on Leeds, man. More misery, please. More misery. Let's give them back-to-back slappings. You know what I mean? And if we do that and get 6 points out of the next two games, yeah, Arsenal will have a couple of games in hand over Arsenal, or maybe one. But who knows where we'll be then? That's all I'll say on that. Who knows where we'll be then? So, yeah. Prediction, I think we'll win the game. I do think it'll be tough. It always is tough. You have to deal with the initial Leeds running around like madmen, high press, all of that stuff. But I think they might be a little bit lost. And I definitely hope they are anyway. And we get the job done. Might be slender, but I think we just about get the job done. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Let me know your predicted lineup in the boxes below. My predicted lineup actually from 1 to 11 is this before I go. David De Gea in goal. I think he's going to go Dalot, Martinez, Dalot, Varane, Martinez, Shaw, Sabitzer and Fred with Bruno in a 10, Rashi on the left. I'm just going to go Weghorst because I've given up on Martial at this point. We haven't had anything about him yet. And Anthony on the right. And then I think as the game wears on a little bit, I think what we could see, I think Sabitzer will probably play the full 90 if he's able to. And he'll probably shift Bruno out to the right. And maybe put Jadon Sancho one in the 10. If not, then just keep it the same and just swap Anthony for Sancho, potentially. Because he didn't get a chance to come on because obviously it was so difficult against Palace, so he couldn't build upon what he did against Forest. So yes, let me know what you guys think. I'm out of here. And I'll be at the game as well. I'm going to be back at Old Trafford as well. Back in the flesh. KG's been holding down the fort and absolutely smashing it. Big up to him. But I'm back. Fleck is back. Peace.